now time for the installation steps, and we have to come towards our laboratory tank. As we all know that our household tanks used to be bigger than this, but this is what we use in the laboratory for this experiment that we are going to show you about how the water tank level meter works. So now in this tank, what we are going to do is to take measurements of the tank. So because of the fact that this is our laboratory tank, we have this as the measurements starting from here, to this point, because from here to here is just the stand of this tank. So this is the height of this our laboratory tank, and in our household tanks, as we all know, it used to be bigger than this, just of this height, which all we know. So if you are doing the installation in your homes, respective homes, please make sure that you take the height of your tank. So once you have taken the height of your tank, that's the step. The first step, you take the height of the tank, then you cut off the height, cut it off this wiring trunk. Once you have cut off the height of your tank, then you be ready to install the sensors inside the wiring trunk. But before I go by that, I will tell you how we do the measurement of the placement of the sensors. When you come into this wiring trunk, just as I have told you that this is the height of our own laboratory tank, I will slide it open to take the measurements on how I'm going to place the sensors. So as I've already mentioned earlier than now, that the first sensor, which is going to be the common line, is going to be the first one that is going to be installed, which is going to be so down of the wire trunk, which is going to be down of the wire trunk of this point. Then the 25%, which is the next one, is going to be close by, which is telling you about the water getting finished on your tank. Then the 50%, which is the half tank, half of it all should come over here. Then we have 75%, which is here. Then the full is going to be here. This is the full 100%. As we all know, it mustn't be all, because from here upwards we assume that you still have full tank. So this is the placement. This is the common line. This is the 25%. This is the half tank. This is the 75%, and this is the full, the 100%. So now I will place it down, and I will tell you how to put your copper wire inside the sensor before we start the placement. So now I will bring the sensor, which is this is one of the sensors, and this is the copper, the flexible wire. I will peel off the coats of this flexible wire. I will peel it off. After peeling it off, then I will make sure that I will put it down. I will put it down and make sure it goes down the sensor. You slot it inside the hole of the sensor and push it down to the extreme. So once it has gotten to the extreme, what you do, you have to lock up the screw. You have to lock up the screw. You have to lock up the screw. You have to lock it so tight. And after the locking of the screw, you check the wire is fixed, well fixed. So this is how to put your copper wire into the sensor. Then once you are done with that, you keep it alongside where others are. This is the 5 sensors. You can see it. This is the 5 sensors. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have 5 sensors assembled here for the installation. So what we do next is to place it in our trunk, the wiring trunk. I will tell you how we place it according to the mark which I have already stated here. So this is the marking. You place the first one, which is the common. You place the second one, which is 25%. You place the half, this is the 50%. You place this one, which is 75%, and this is the full, this is 100%. So the next step is placing the sensors along this rail of the wire trunk. So that's the next thing I will tell you how to do right now. So it's now time to fix the sensors to the wiring trunk. So this is one of the sensors which I'm about to fix inside the wiring trunk via the aid of the super glue. So now you watch the way I do. I just lay it flat on this. Just apply the glue, just a little. And just lay it, as you can see. So that one is already laid and you repeat it for the following 4 remaining sensors.
Action.
So now you can see how the sensors are being laid in the trunk. You can just watch and see the 5 sensors laid accordingly. This is the common line. This is 25%. This is the half tank, 50%, 75%, and this is the full tank. This is 100%. And you see the lines, So I'm going to, the next step now is to tag each sensor so that you don't get confused when you're installing it to the meter. So now I have to tag each line. I have to tag each line starting from the common line, which is this line. So I will tag it. You get to the end of the wire to tag it. You can just write C as common. You just write C as common. Okay. Then you come to the next one, being the 25%, you locate the line and get to the end point of the copper wire, flexible wire, and indicate it as 25. 25%. Okay, 25 is okay. Then you keep it. You then get to the next one, which is 50%. You have to tag it 50. All these things will help you while installing it to the terminals of the meter so that you will not misplace it. Then we get down to the next one, being the 75. Okay, the 75%. This one, we tag it as well. We tag it 75. Okay, then the last one being the 100%, the full, is this line. You can just write full there, or 100. That is the last sensor. You can just write 100. Okay. Okay. Once we are done with this, what we have to do, we pack the line inside the rail. You pack the line inside the rail, then you lock the rail. You close the rail up. You close the rail up. Close the rail up, then it is now ready to go inside the tank, you know. So but before I do that, I have to make sure that the meter is already mounted on the wall. Before you mount the meter on the board, I would like to show you how you fix your 9-volt battery so that you will not damage the terminals or the holder. So when you put it, you slot it to the holder, you use something like a little screw like this. You open it up a little, you push it inside. Once you push it inside, it will fix perfectly. Then you check whether it can power. Okay, as you can see, you power it, you can off it, then you are good to go. You are good to mount it. So now, as you can see, the meter is already mounted on the board. You know, you can see it is mounted already. So what we do next is to put the trunk alongside with the sensors inside the tank for a proper connection. So, but there is something that I have to let you understand. On the trunk, you chop off the end for a penetration of the water through the trunk. So make sure that the end is chopped off, so that there will be a penetration of water. So once you are done, you slot in the trunk inside the tank, at the edge of that tank, and make it to be firm, just like as you can see. So the next thing you do is now to connect this wire to the terminals. So you select them one after the other. So what we do now, we go for the common line. We go for the common line. We get the common line and start with the common line. So this is the common line. So this is the common line. So what we do here, we have to put it, we have to make sure that it goes Okay. That one has gone inside. So we check the 25%.
It's action.
So now, as you can see, the whole terminals are now connected. Both the common line, the 25%, 50%, 75%, and the 100% being the full, they're all connected. So down, you can see the line as it's going, it's connected down to the tank, you know. So you can see it, they're all going direct inside the tank. So now what we are going to do next now is to run the practical and see how it works. The perfection of this water tank level meter is what we are going to attest now. So what we are going to do next is to on the meter, which is now fixed on the wall. When you press the button there with the switch, now is on, we can see the power being on. So the next thing I have to do right now is to pour water inside this tank, which is assuming that we are there are inlet of water in our overhead tank or surface tank. So now I have to pour water inside this our laboratory tank and see how it works, you know, on that meter. So right now I have water here. Then I have to start pouring inside the tank. As I'm pouring the water inside the tank, you have to see the meter on the wall. The 25% is already on, and I'm still pouring, showing that I'm putting water inside my tank. I'm still putting, it's now half of my tank. I'm still putting water, and it's still going. It's still going. You can see the 75%, yes, of my tank. You can see I'm still pouring. It's yet to get filled up. It's yet to, okay, my tank is filled up. I'm still pouring. You can see all the LEDs are all on. I'm still pouring, even though my tank is about to finish, filled up. So now you can see the whole LED on, showing that my tank is filled up. You know, showing that my tank is filled up. So, and that is the essence of what we are doing here in the laboratory, to tell you the essence and the how it works in our households for all the estate developers that knows the technology that rules the world, that knows what is good for them, that averts all the hazards that we encounter in going to climb to check the water levels. This is technology that has now been invented to avert all those hazards. See the perfection of this work. You can see it, we can all see how it works, the beautification of the work, how it looks. When you mount it in your kitchen, how it even give your kitchen a facelift. So you can just see how it works. Now, I will then show you another stage of it, that I have to start discharging this water. You will see how the LED will be going off as we are doing the discharge, showing, assuming that you are now using your water to a point that your water is going down. So you will see how it's going to be working. No? Right now, I will discharge this water. Let's see how it works on the board, on that meter there. So right now, I will discharge this water right now. Let's see how it works. When you see a new technology, you have to embrace it, because technology rules the world, as we know. This is what every household needed to, improve their lifestyles, because it's been a high time that we run out of water and endanger ourselves into some kind of hazards due to climbing and doing all sorts of things to check. And most times we come and use temperature gauge, using our hand to check where the water is, or this and that. I think it's high time we stop doing all those things. Now we have a meter that can tell you the level of your tank, whether it is overhead tank or it is a surface tank. You don't have any problem. Once you mount this meter, you have the gauge, you have the level. Anywhere, anytime you want to get it, you know where it is. And that's the beautification of this. You can see as you are using your water, it's draining down. As it's draining down, the LED is going off. As it's draining down, the LED is going off. You can see the water is going down. Assuming that you are using your water is going down, draining. You can see it on the meter that is still half tank. It is half tank now. Before you do it, it will go below half tank. So I'm still draining, showing you how it works, the perfection of this meter. You know, it has gone below, yes. See, it's no more half tank anymore. So it's still going down. It's still going down. Once it goes beyond 25%, mind you mean that you don't really have much water in your tank. If you have a grace of a day or thereabout to look for a water supply to refill your tank, you know. So that's the essence of this, to know how to minimize your water and know when to call the water supply and to fill your tank, you know, to avoid emergency calls which might endanger your life or a hike in the price. So that's the importance of all this technology, and I think it's worth having in every household. That's a good technology. Yes, I'm draining and it's still going down. It's still going down. It's going down. As you can watch, the water is still going down. I'm still draining. Yes, I'm still going down. I'm still going down. It's still 25% on the board. You are still using your water. You still have some water with you in the tank. But once it goes beyond 25%, yes, you then know that you have barely a day to look for a supply because you don't have much water in your tank anymore. Just like you can see on the board, the LED of 25% has gone off. Now, you can see the pressure on the water has drastically reduced and will soon go off, showing you that you don't have enough water in your tank, that you needed to look for a supply for a refill. It's already cut. You can see the tank now is off. So this is the importance of this technology, and that is why we are here to demonstrate how it works, installations and perfection of this work called the Botwise technology, water tank level meter. It's a very nice innovation that helps one in every household to avoid some hazard one and dangers. It's good talking with you, and it's nice doing business with you. You're welcome to Botwise.